So this is the Deadly Woods, a Battle of Bulge game by Ted Racer. Um, this is the setup along here. This is a very interesting Bulge game because it is one mapper. Things map. It's a one mapper, 12 turns. That's a full campaign, or 6 turns for the initial. And this is the Deadly Woods / his Dark series. The rule book is pretty short too. It's basically 20 pages of rules. Pretty short. Even the rules are a lot of space in the book there, so it's not very dense. Read it, easy to read, quick, and a nice chit pool here. So we'll be playing through here to see how this stacks up compared to other Bulge games and the other darks that I've played of Dark Valley and Dark Sands, which are pretty good. And since this is a nice one mapper Bulge game, 12 turns, probably a nice game for majority of people because of space considerations. Compared to most Bulge games can be 2 mappers or up to 4, depending. So we'll see how this goes. On to turn 1. So this is the end of turn 1. Turn 1 has a bit of scripting and special rules, but basically the activation chits ran pretty much in that level. A few little extra things for special rules in the beginning, and then it just kind of played out as such on the draws. And this is the ending up. Not much happening up here. Reinforcements have come in up along the ridge here. A bit of a breakout here, but we pulled the 106 back. The armor rolls here were kind of an exchange. Out here, just kind of blew through that completely open. There's nobody other than the reinforcements. 10th armor coming up to Bastogne. These guys are all kind of holding their own a little bit, but there's not much there. So that's the end of turn 1. On to turn 2. Oh, and only this game is just a 12 turn game, so pretty short. This is the status of the end of turn 2 of the Deadly Woods. See here, the Germans have pushed forward pretty well all along the line. I mean, they're already way out here. And kind of down here, 101st and 82nd coming up here. Put the marker there. So the interesting thing of this system, because if you look at here, the lots of dead American units, the play of all the chits, what makes this one actually quite interesting compared to, say, Ardennes 44, is every time you play it with the chit pool is going to be completely different. So playability is a lot higher than say Arden 44 because it's always the same. And you won't always, if the dice gods are against you in the Arden 44, you could basically stall out right here, as I've done many times, and go nowhere. Get completely bogged down in this area here and go almost nowhere. And but the way the dice and the CRT in Arden 44 can make it bogged down, whereas in the Holland 44 one is nice in the sense that it's the same system, but the variability is your bridges. So if the dice rolls are not good on you, each game is never the same either. Because of that variability makes that game very nice. So it's looking good. This system is looking pretty fun for a bulge game, and being a one mapper chip pool. And so every game you play is going to be completely different because of that. And seeing how well you can play, because the way you choose your move on combat chits, and sometimes the timing comes out with it, is that the Germans were able to push and through here quite rapidly, keeping the movement and combats flowing correctly, in the sense that they can really exploit the situation, like having the formations and armies following quite well, is that you can keep things flowing nicely. So on to turn. So this is the end of turn 3. You can see the sequence of the chip pull here for the turn. Germans pushed out here, but the reinforcements are coming up here, but there's big gaps in here. Really liking the chip pull thing here, because it doesn't make the bulge and play out pretty like standard in the sense of I go, you go kind of games. This is more in line with the last Blitzkrieg, the battalion system by MMP, which also is kind of a chip pull by formations, which really makes the game really tense and different. As you can see, not much action down here, but holes are opening up. But the Germans can't really exploit it without supply, but this guy's out of supply. Yeah, so really liking this so far. And then on to turn. So this is the end of turn 4, and the Germans got the sudden death victory. They got one hex there, 2, 3, 4, and then Bastogne down here for 5. And this is the makeup of the chip pull for the turn. Lots of allied dead. Playing it kind of quick, not really thinking through hard on the moves, just testing out how this game stacks up. It's really good, different with the chip pull. It makes the bulge campaign, I feel, a bit better, not so scripted. This is great one mapper, small size for a Bastogne. But if you want another chip pools, but massively better, bigger, not very different and good is the Last Blitzkrieg, the Battalion series, which is also a variant of chip pool, and so it makes it a very interesting and dynamic Battle of the Bulge, whereas I feel our Dan 44 is pretty scripted. You can get bogged down pretty quick with bad rolls, and then it comes kind of a slog and slow, not so dynamic sometimes. But that's how I think this one really works well. And since it's a one mapper, light counters, I think this is a great game for the Bulge. Some more thoughts about the Allied side here. Probably they have a nice kind of gaming problem, is that you, in the early game, you really got to get your timing of playing your chit that you hold, but also since the German has so many chits that the rules state that you're forced after 2 in a row for the Germans, so the Allies got to play. So timing is a factor for the Allies, and having it would be suggested of playing it through first, see how everything times out for if you're new to the game, so that you're not surprised by anything per se. And for the Allies, Germans are a little straightforward, particularly in the early game, because that's all I got up to and they won. It will be interesting to play a later scenario or play the campaign and get further in and see how, when the chits get pulled out, because a few of them did get pulled out for the Germans and it kind of slowed them a little bit down. But luckily they had a good breakthrough early in the game, but that could be first time playing results. So that's